All right, good morning, everybody. This is your total overview on how December 7th, which is going to be our DECA District 9 conference, on how that whole thing is going to go down. At this point, you would have seen a video that looked like it started out like this, and it was giving you details for your test. We're going to go over that a little bit faster because that is done at this time. This video can help you out as a student that is currently in class, a student that is in a cyber class or a second semester class where you don't necessarily have access to a teacher, and parents. This could also be something that you would like to take a look at so you feel like you have a really good idea of how this day is going to go for your student. So again, it's going to be Tuesday, December 7th when our actual field trip is, and it's going to be at the Valley Towers at King of Prussia. The Valley Towers were formerly the Radisson Valley Forge Hotel, because probably some of our parents might actually recognize it more like that. It is definitely on property where the Valley Forge Casino and Convention Center is, but it's not in that facility this year. So at this point, we would have taken our test already. So what happens with your test is that obviously it was an online test and that score is recorded. You're not going to know your score on the test until after the entire event is over, but that score on your test is going to be combined with your role play score that will actually take place on Tuesday, December 7th. So now we're going to go into a little bit more detail of what Tuesday, December 7th is actually going to look like. The students that are in the picture on the right were actually attending this event a few years ago. What I want you to notice very quickly is it is an event that we have to get dressed up for. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but these are actual East students, and I'd like you to notice that one has a blazer, a couple don't have a blazer. We have a female pictured and she has on pants. It's totally fine for women to wear pants. And you're going to also see that all of the guys do have on a tie. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more. Your layout for the day is that you're going to come to school at regular time, all dressed and ready to go. At 7:30, we're going to have a continental breakfast for you in the auditorium lobby. And then you'll move into the auditorium. You're not going to any classes on this day. That will already be sent out to attendants and also your teachers. When we move into the auditorium, the officers will address you. We're going to board the bus for King of Prussia. When we get up to King of Prussia, we start out with your role plays. As soon as your role play is done, there will be a shuttle bus that can take you over to the mall to get lunch. No lunch is provided at the facility. There will be an e-staff member at the mall, and you'll also be able to text myself. You'll have my cell phone number, and then through the Remind message app, you'll be able to reply to that, and those messages go directly to myself and also Mr. Connor. Once you have lunch at the mall, you need to make sure you leave enough time to get on the shuttle bus and get back to the convention center by 1:45. When you come back at 1:45, you're going to be checking in with an officer so that we have your attendance squared away. And then the award ceremony will begin at 2. We would love to have all of you there so that you can see that award ceremony. We plan on being back to East High School around 3:30 in the afternoon if everything goes smoothly. I'm going to talk to you a little bit later on if you have another commitment such as sports practice or tryouts and you need to get back. I'm going to address how that happens for you in the future, but we would love for all of you to stay and see the award ceremony. So when we get ready to go for this, students, a really big thing for you is that you definitely need to take responsibility. You're going to be receiving not only messages on our Schoology page, but also directly to your email that is going to have your category name, your category abbreviation, that is a 3 or 4 letter abbreviation, and it's also going to have information for you on your role play times. So for those of you that would typically say, I never check my email, the ball is in your court at this time. You need to please make sure that you take responsibility and you do that. On the day of the event, you can bring with you a simple calculator, and please make sure that you bring some pens or pencils to write with so that whenever you work on your role play prep, you'll be ready to go. Again, in this picture on the right-hand side, you can see students from a few years ago, and this is literally what they would have worn to their district event. So you can see we've got a combination of different things. So when we get ready to go and we talk about a regular calculator, your phone calculator will not be allowed, as well as any kind of smartwatch. So we are literally talking about that old school calculator that is most likely in your junk drawer in your house. So that's what you definitely want to bring, and pens or pencils are completely fine. Beyond that, your phone number has been dumped into a Remind account so that we can send you updates and messages throughout the day. Because we have so many of you, we have to divide the Remind account into 2 different groups for 9th and 10th graders and also 11th and 12th graders. If you feel that you have not received a message, you can join that Remind account by typing the number 81010, and please denote the difference between the 9th and 10th graders message and then also the 11th and 12th graders message. I'm going to leave this slide here for a second so that you can see that if you need to get it. And then again, one more time, these students over here on the right-hand side are attending the district conference, and you can see again, everyone's dressed appropriately, and this happens to be all ladies, and you can kind of check out what they've got going on. We use that Remind app throughout the day. It's a really big deal that we've got everybody in there so we can send you updates and reminders. So now on to the dress code for just a little bit. This is the official infographic that DECA puts out for their dress code. But basically what happens, this is the official dress code that you would need for the final level, the highest level of competition that is known as the ICDC, which is going to be in Atlanta, Georgia this year. So we don't have to have blazers or DECA blazers at our district competition, but we actually have about 40 men's and women's blazers if you would like to borrow one of those. It's totally appropriate to borrow them. That's exactly what we have them for. But this is the official DECA thing you can take a look at. One thing that might be a little shocking to you is that boat shoes are not considered dress shoes. So that could be a little something that you're slightly surprised by. What I would like to point out here is the length of the skirt for the ladies. And then also for the gentlemen, I would just point out again, notice that we have a tie as well. And then here's kind of how we interpret this at East High School. So a couple questions that come up over the years. When we talk about professional dress is required, Uggs are not appropriate, moccasins or sneakers are not appropriate. For the females, a blouse, sweater, dress pants, skirt to the knee, dress shoes, tights or stockings are suggested if you are going to wear a skirt. Absolutely no stretchy or band-type miniskirts or yoga pants are allowed. A student will not attend the conference and will stay back for the day of classes if they have on inappropriate or too revealing clothing. So please keep that in mind. The dress code here at school has become rather lax. So there are definite things that you're seeing in the hall every day that would not be appropriate for this conference. DECA blazers can be borrowed if you'd like. When you look over here to the right, the girls at the top, they are East girls from a couple years ago at the conference. You can kind of see how they're dressed and what they have on. I would describe that look as very modest. This picture with the blazers, they are not East students, but that's a picture of what the ladies' DECA blazer actually looks like, and we have those that you can borrow if you would like to do that. Let's take a look at the dress code for the men. For the guys again, shirt, tie, dress pants, belt, and dress shoes. A sports jacket or blazer is not required or needed until the state conference. Blazers like the one you see to the right, this is an alumni, Brendan Merton. You can borrow one of those blazers if you would like. Brendan had his on that day because he was a DECA officer. You can see in the picture at the top, these are East students. It's a little bit of an older picture, but you can see that some have a jacket with khaki pants. Some just have a shirt and tie. It was totally appropriate. I believe this is Matt Dunkel. I think he had a full suit on that day, and Alec had a full suit on, but Ryan had a shirt and pants. So either way you go with that, it's totally fine. All of the students in this picture were all dressed appropriately for the day, whether they had a blazer or not. And to borrow a blazer, it's kind of like borrowing a library book. You just sign it out, and then you bring it back, and no problem. That's how that goes. More for the students. So what's going to happen the morning of December 7th, when you come in for breakfast, you're going to notice we're going to have adult volunteers that are here to help you out. Here is the cafeteria, the hallway, and then here's the auditorium on this side. There will be round tables set up. There will be a food and drink area. It is a continental breakfast, so if you're expecting bacon and eggs, that's not going to happen. So you can come on in, have breakfast. It starts at 7:30. The officers will be there to do a check-in with, so we make sure that you're there for the day, and we will have a little pin to give you. After that, we're going to usher you into the auditorium. Oh, there's a typo there. That should say December 7th. Sorry about that. So whenever you come in here for this event, we're going to have you sit in a certain way. So when you walk in from the back, the stage is up front. 9th grade, you're going to sit in the section that is closest to Fugit. 10th and 11th graders, you're going to sit in the middle section. And seniors, you're going to sit in the side closest to East. So basically when you come in, that's going to be on the right-hand side. You're going to be given information that will let you know your bus number, your category name, and your role play time. But again, this is your responsibility. So whenever we go to this event, lunch is not provided. You will need money to purchase lunch at the King of Prussia Mall, or you can bring your own lunch. A shuttle bus will be making loops for the DECA students. An East staff member will be at the mall. All students will have my cell number, and they can message teachers through the Remind app. The shuttle bus will drop and pick up at the same location at the mall. Students must complete their role play before heading to the mall. You are not allowed to go over to the mall and then come back for your role play. You will be disqualified. You must return to the conference center by 1:45 and check in with your assigned officer. If you have a situation where you need to leave earlier than the time we're going to get back, so we should be back around 3:30, we do need an early dismissal pass from you. So the students who need to leave early must provide a parent note through the Google form, which has been sent to parents and is also on our Schoology page. No transportation is provided to come back earlier than 3:30 by East. Rides must be coordinated by families, and you must leave from the conference center lobby, not the mall. So you need to check out with the East teacher that is going to be positioned in the conference lobby. So we need a note from your family. We need that by Thursday, December 2nd, and it has to be a parent or a full-blown adult that is coming to pick you up. It is not okay for your friend to come and get you just because you had to ride a bus and you'd like to go back early. Here's the link for the early dismissal form. If you can please fill that out. Typically what happens is it could be sports that want to come back early, so it can really help out the parents if the players on the team chat a little bit about that and find out how you can carpool. You can carpool with an adult, that's fine, but it just cannot be another classmate that comes to pick you up. A couple things to remember, we will be back at school by 3:30. I don't think you need your backpack for the day, but if you want to take it, you can. I don't know for sure if you want to bring a jacket. You are literally going to be taking the bus to the conference center, getting the shuttle bus to the mall and back. You're not really going to have to stand outside quite a bit. And then when we leave King of Prussia, we'll let you know when you can call for your ride. So a big question is going to be, how do I qualify for states? What you're looking at is a picture from a couple years ago. This is a group of all East DECA students. I think for our new students and also for our parents that are at home, it's very difficult to imagine how large this group actually is. We have 170 members this year and 155 that are going to be going to districts. The other 15 are competing in projects that will go right to states. So how do I qualify? If you are called on stage at districts, then you placed high enough to attend states and you have the opportunity to attend. The top individual and principal events and team events will move on to states. Some students do choose not to go. Just because you qualify does not mean that you have to go. There is a minimum score, though, for you to attend states. A minimum score is a combined score of 120 to be able to compete at states. That's going to be a combination of your role play and also your test. If your score does not total 120, you will not be going to states. States is a very big commitment, and we need to make sure that it's students that are serious about it and have prepared